Hi, Laura.
Tina, how you doing?
Yeah, really well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
What kind of things have inspired you?
First thing that comes to my mind is sort of this, I don't know, I feel like a food renaissance. I mean, when this all started, for a couple of weeks, we thought maybe it would end quickly, and then you realize it's going to be a while. And so I started planning a number of activities, and at least with my daughter, and I've seen this in so many families are having this sort of food renaissance. They're baking together, they're cooking together, because, that's a fun activity you can do and is also productive. And if you're having to make dinner with children at home, I think the whole notion of this new term I'm hearing, grocerant, an innovation that's maybe come out of it. I think it's just changed dramatically how we're thinking about it. From a design perspective, obviously, because I'm a designer, I mean, we are seeing all sorts of reactions from health departments, but also flexibility. How, if I need to now full serve from my salad bar, do I need a hand sink? Can it be a mobile hand sink? Just as an example, like the thinking and the thought processes that we're going through.
I think I've spent at least the last 8 weeks thinking about what restaurants I want to go to when I'll be allowed to get out again to go. Where do you want to go to?
Papa's Crab Cakes would be my choice. That's my favorite crab cake joint. That's where I would go back. They make this amazing, basically twice baked potato. Oh, it's awesome.
Hello, Julian.
Hi, Tina. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm excellent. All things considered, fine.
And how would you describe the current status of the food service sector in the UK at the minute?
Looking at a reopening plan, there's a huge amount of work to be done to ensure that a business is safe and equipped and ready to go. There is a wave of sadness in the respect that some chains and organisations may not come back, may not survive this.
This is a sector that's really good at coming up with solutions, isn't it? I mean, what have you seen?
Certainly the pub trade, where a landlord is faced with no customers coming to them, so they've converted their business to take the products to customer and quickly converted into a delivery operation, but offering, if it's a food environment, then offering meals in good to go packaging, having that delivered or to be picked up. And they've kept a good, almost in some cases, a very buoyant trade going, owing to the fact that they had a loyal customer base at the beginning. The innovative approach of British hospitality operatives, restaurateurs has been outstanding.
I'm interested to find out, what do you miss?
I think I say the word local pub about 15 times a day.
What would be your first restaurant to visit?
It'll be the Paternoster Chop House, St. Paul's in London. Well, it was the last meal we had as a gang, and the gang being colleagues from FCSI. Can't wait to go back there again, definitely.
Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Tina. How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, good. So, how would you describe the current status in Chicago?
We were able to see the restaurants open up for dine-in outdoors. So last weekend in Chicago was great. We actually got to go and sit in an establishment and have people bring me a craft cocktail and a wonderful appetizer. And it's going to be fascinating being in the city of Chicago. I always laugh. We have, some of the best restaurants in the world. You could go to a different restaurant every day, 3 meals a day, and never run out of places to go. One of my favorite Italian restaurants, I got a delivery, and it was, our server that came and delivered it. So they got creative. We tipped well. It's a small place, been around for about 30 years. They use Facebook. They said, you can text us your orders. There was some trust, but they started going outside of the city, and they would advertise that we'll be in this suburb on this day, so place your orders. And so I thought that was pretty creative. One thing that we need is that human interaction, so we don't all become bubbles. So we had learned a while back that getting together at least once a week, different groups, to see each other, even if it's just to go, to breakfast and to talk. You're never as productive when you're all together as alone at your computer. But I've been missing that connection piece. And Wisconsin, I live close to Wisconsin. That opened up before us. And Peggy, who works for me, she's also my best friend, and we actually quarantined together. So that helped tremendously. So we kind of would work during the day, and keep each other company and cook, and we made candles and we did things online, and we got all sorts of creative, but it was good. And like I said, I think with anything else, it comes down to attitude, right? You can change something, change it, and if not, accept it, make the best of it. And
but what kind of things will you take out of this experience in terms of positives to maybe continue doing? Or
I'm not sure at this point. I think we're still in the middle of it. I'm not sure. I do know that I will never take eating in a restaurant or seeing my family for granted. It did amaze me how quickly the whole world shut down. We take a lot for granted. And I think if we can just step back and appreciate the people and the opportunities that are around us, if that's just the first small step, and then see where it goes.
Hello, Frank.
Hi Tina, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. How are you doing?
It's hot in Berlin, hot.
When did you go into lockdown mode in Germany?
No, we don't have a lockdown here, so they just closed schools, kindergartens, and restaurants, and malls, and shops. But 2 days later, they said, no, close completely.
Okay.
It's too dangerous, so they could not prepare themselves. I'm going to restaurants since 2 weeks already. But for the restaurants, it's also difficult because if you don't have space, you cannot have the same as it was before. People changed how or what they producing or selling.
Yeah.
So, and for me, the dumplings is, actually very nice. Maybe in London you have dumplings, in every supermarket, but here it was nothing. So we could not find anyone. So, I was in Dresden this weekend. My daughter lives there. So, and they have very nice restaurants there. And they have this huge terraces, and they changed the menu completely to how I call it, local and seasonal products. So, and if in the whole overview in Germany, people were buying 40% more fresh products than before. So, and people started home cooking, people started baking. So I think many people starting cooking themselves with friends. That's a big thing that I think will stay for a while, for quite a long time.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Tina. How are you today?
I'm really well, thanks. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Here in Iowa, we were in lockdown for about 2 months, but we never had a fully mandated lockdown. They did mandate that all restaurants and bars close, and that any leisure places such as bowling alleys or casinos, those were all closed as well for about 2 months here. And then we started opening back up in mid-May. The biggest impact was the owners had days notice that they were going from full service to either being closed completely or modifying their ability to serve to takeout and delivery only. Some of the clients we've worked with in the local area, in the local city here, were upper scale, more fine dining, but they made the jump very quickly and were very successful at it. One of the big things that helped them in that process was the ability to sell alcohol to go, which normally in Iowa that was prohibited before, but through the COVID pandemic, they actually relaxed the laws on that and allowed them to serve takeout drinks. And they were very creative with how they did it. So, the finer dining establishments with the craft cocktails, they would actually mix up all the ingredients of the cocktail and then leave the alcohol separate. And so when you came and picked it up to go, you would have 2 individual containers. And then when you got home, all you had to do was simply mix it together.
So has COVID-19 changed your life in any way?
The biggest change is not traveling. As chair of FCSI the Americas and as being an active board member, and then all my day-to-day project work, I was quite frequently either flying or on the road, and that is virtually stopped. So I think, at least for the near future, I will be at home a lot more. One good thing is Little League Baseball has started now, so my son's team is playing on a weekly basis. Other than that, all the major league sports are virtually at a shutdown still, but it does sound like they're going to be starting up in about a month. So that's kind of something to look forward to. as of right now, you can go to bars, restaurants, everything is back open. I wouldn't call it's semi-normal. I wouldn't call it normal because there is still mask requirements, social distancing requirements. But even this past weekend, we did go to a brewery and had some beer and some nice lunch. So that was kind of the first big outing that we've had. We kind of stuck close to home. It was Textile Brewery, actually, in Dyersville, Iowa, which is about 20 minutes from here. It was great. It was very exciting to go out and see people again. I miss the people of the industry and the camaraderie and going out and seeing everyone. That's been the hardest part.